This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description. Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It is 9 a.m. It is time for top of the morning here on the Urban Conservative. If you haven't done so already, we need you to visit tuconservative.com. Our mission here at the Urban Conservative is to continue to share conservative values and principles and the benefits of conservative policies to urban communities across this great and wonderful nation of ours. I got to give a big shout out to my twin brother, Raheem Architect Soto, who is out on assignment this morning with the South Shore Press. Shouts out to everybody over there at the South Shore Press. And ladies and gentlemen, it has been a very interesting last 24 hours in the news cycle. You know, obviously the elephant in the room, McCarthy has been ousted as Speaker of the House. We're going to talk about that. We want to talk a little bit about this arrest in New York, about why Walmart is apparently racist. But before we talk about Speaker McCarthy, and before we get into this whole thing about Walmart being racist, today is National Taco Day. So if you haven't had plans, didn't have plans today on getting a taco, everything is apparently a day for something now. Didn't know that. So I would have loved this to fall on a Tuesday so we could have not had tacos yesterday and then enjoyed a taco for today. But today is National Taco Day. Get yourself a taco. Last but certainly not least, got to hit y'all with the mug shot. This is what we on today, ladies and gentlemen, our Frederick Douglass Foundation mug. We're doing some standard run-of-the-mill Folgers coffee today. I just didn't have time to percolate and do all the good stuff. But one of the things we wanted to talk about to you all this morning. Oh, snap. Hold on. People already calling in for the show. But one of the things we wanted to talk to you all about this morning, and we're going to kind of go in reverse order. And if you have been involved in any level of politics, you'll know that county level politics are usually the most difficult, the hardest. When I ran for county chair, people were asking me, they were like, oh my God, why in God's green earth would you want to get involved in county level politics? It's the most divisive. It's the most difficult. People tend to be the meanest at the local level. And that made me think about, why is it so tough for county parties with local elections? You look around what's happening, and not just here in North Carolina, and I'm specifically talking about North Carolina, though. You've got candidates getting caught stealing other people's signs and taking them up. You've got candidates people accusing candidates of things that are 25, 30 years old. Heck, when I ran for office within the GOP, by some folks, I was treated as if I had never done anything for the GOP, as if I wasn't what did the lady call me? No real conservative would have the name Abdul Ali. Somebody actually said that stupid crap out of their mouth. Actually got caught putting it in print. But why is it so difficult for local parties? And I'll tell you why it's difficult for local parties. And this county commissioner right here, Kenny Wortman, I had an opportunity to work with him while I was chairman in Cabarrus County. Watched the man go, get himself elected, become a county commissioner, and I think he's been doing an amazing job. But he hit the nail on the head when it comes to why these local elections are so difficult for Republican parties. And when you have people who assume leadership positions in the party for no other reason other than to be ideological zealots, right? To be people that say, I'm the true conservative. You're not conservative enough. If you don't think like I think, you're not conservative enough. You actually had the chairman of the Cabarrus County Republican Party, and I think this is some of the most repugnant shit that I've ever heard, say, we don't want foreign objects on our county commission. We don't want foreign objects on our election. We want people that will be brought to heel. And that is the type of rhetoric when you look at the fact that unaffiliated is the largest voter block in our state, right? Let's just be honest. People are going to complain North Carolina's a red state. I think that that's somewhat accurate when you look at the fact that we were able to elect Ted Budd. We've got a majority on the Supreme Court. Yeah, we're red in so much as we're a law and order state. We're not really a blue, cashless bail kind of state. But when you have local parties that want to assume this position of moral superiority, that want to run the county party as if it's some sort of Gestapo, when you have people running up on your car at elections, supposedly Republicans, talking dirt about the party and talking dirt about other Republicans. And this county commissioner, like I said, he hit the nail on the head. Let me see if I found the right.
Follow it to the T, or you're disowned. One of you can do whatever you want. I'll tell everybody how that works and what that looks like. You have several PACs involved. There was a PAC called Together for Freedom. There was a PAC called Family Values. And those PACs combined, a lot of those people now sit on your Republican executive board for Cabarrus County. They were fighting each other over who's the best candidate to support. And the reason why is because they want to know which puppet is easier to control.
Ooh, buddy. So here you have a bunch of people. We're the true conservatives. No, never mind that more than half the people that show up to control these county conventions never show back up. We've never seen these people again. You never see them again. But he's right. When you have local parties that want to control and look for candidates that are going to be the yes men, not the candidates that are going to represent our values, not the candidates that are going to go up there and do the best possible job, but want to go up there and have this ideological war. And it's a shame that this ideological war exists within our own GOP. I had literally had people telling me I'm not a true conservative. He's not a real Republican. Well, what pray tell is a real Republican? And who on God's green earth died and determined that you are the arbiter of what a true conservative is? I've always it's irked me when I hear that. And this county commissioner, I'm telling you, he's calling it out. He's going to talk a little bit more here. I'm going to let this rock out.
And that gets to power. The reason power matters. All right, it's basic math. On the county commissioners, you have 5. So if you can count to 3, 1, 2, 3, you can do whatever you want. All you need is 3 votes, and you can do whatever you want. When you get to the school board, if you can count to 4, you can do whatever you want. So if you have enough people in place, technically they can do whatever they want. I'll give you an example. There's a local municipal election coming up for the city of Concord that our Republican Party is pushing. One of those candidates, and I'm not going to name names, do your own research. One of those candidates has not voted in a municipal election in it's either 10 to 15 years. And the last 4 ballots that they have pulled, they voted Democrat, not Republican.
Hold on. You hear that, folks? You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? This is what happens when it's not about what's best for the party, when it's about assuming a position of power, and literally, I can pull up the person's, you know what? I'm going to do it. You know what? I'm going to do it because the fact of the matter is they gave certain candidates in my county, in Cabarrus, they gave certain candidates who were lifelong Democrats, who were conservative, that switched over, became good, solid Republicans that contributed their time, their energy, their money, and everything. They gave them hell, these people. They gave them she's not no Republican. She's not no real Republican. She's not a this. She's not a that. And I want to share something with you all. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Would y'all look at this? Look at this. This is the candidates voting record that he's talking about. Didn't vote Republican until the May 17th primary in 2022. Democrat as early as 2018. Interesting. Then we go down here and let's just see something here. Let's just see something here. When was this changed over to Republican? When was this changed over to Republican? It doesn't say. It doesn't say when this was changed over to Republican. But the fact of the matter is, would you vote for somebody that had a record of continuously voting Democrat and only switched over to vote Republican? I'd be on pause. I'd have a little pause about that. Now, why? Why would you be pushing that candidate? Why? It just doesn't add up to me. But this fact of the matter is, when you have people switching voter registrations back and forth, when you have people at a local level who, and I'm only saying this because I've experienced it firsthand. I know this for a fact firsthand. There are people who will do whatever it takes. They will lie, they will cheat, they will steal to get into a position of power within the party, air finger quote, a position of power within the GOP, only to realize that it's nothing but work. It's all work. You know, there's no real. I didn't make more money as a chairman. I didn't get promoted to anything. Nobody was knocking down my door saying, "Hey, you're the chairman of the county party. Here's $1 million." It doesn't work that way. But I got to give a shout out to Commissioner Kenny Wortman for calling it out. And I mean, think about this, you all. Think, and I hope this doesn't start a trend. We now have one unaffiliated county commissioner in the entire state of North Carolina. Y'all know where that is? That's in good old Cabarrus County. So good job on pushing and driving away a county commissioner. That's excellent job there. The fact of the matter is, ultimately, you know, we say we want to support the platform, we want to support Republicans, but with the type of rhetoric, we don't want foreign objects. Yeah, I want the women dressed in a certain way. They're talking about how people dress when they come to the meetings. You know, the Republican Party, folks, is not church. Okay, I'm a Christian. I think there's a place for my faith. I'm a person of faith. I believe that I want to lead with my faith when I make decisions and stuff like that. But a political party is not your church. It's just not. A political party. I don't want to go to a Republican Party meeting and have church, or have to sit there and listen to some guy pontificate and sit there. It's like the one-man band, the one-man show. Some, you know, slick oil salesman sounding guy sit there and lecture me about how much he supports the platform, when in reality, you're not even doing that. Now, I'm going to say this one last thing about local elections. When we look at the fact that we have, in some places, these off-year municipal elections are 10, 11, some places 20% turnout if you're lucky, what does that say about our ability as a party to drive our voters out where it matters the most? What does that actually say? What does that mean when we talk about wanting to have control as Republicans of our local elections and wanting to be a part of the process and wanting to make sure that we're, you know, because the local is the feeder up to the federal, the state, and the federal, but we're driving out. We're not driving turnout. I was just out in Pasquotank County yesterday. 600 and something people voted. And there's thousands of Republicans there. You think about how many people are voting in these local elections, and does it matter? So again, it's so difficult. The local elections are so difficult. One, because that is where people are the most incensed. But then you also have to remember, you have a group of people, some folks who have no idea how a political party works, have no idea how politics work. They just want to be the ones in charge because we're the true conservatives. I literally had watched people get accosted outside of their vehicles with lies. Like Kenny was talking about, you got this group, this family values group that was anything but family values. You got another one called Together for Freedom. They couldn't even stay together for their own damn freedom. Then you have people that are just so ideologically locked in. And folks, believe me, here's the fun part about this. And this is why I say this is interesting. I actually got sued as a county party chairman. I got sued in federal court for gender discrimination against a woman. And here's the fun part about this. The claim was made that, and I can pull up the lawsuit and show it to you. The claim was made that Abdul came to the women's club and he didn't bring anything. That was the claim, right? And the beautiful thing about social media, ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful thing about social media is you keep receipts, okay? Is you have receipts, right? So I got sued in federal court, accused, and this is local Republicans doing this to each other. I got accused of not bringing a gift to the women's meeting. And there I am with the vice chairman with a box of Pampers that I went and bought. So am I saying that Republicans don't have it together. I mean, I think that there is an element in our party that is looking to be the purist. That is, for some reason, they don't keep this level of smoke for Democrats. No, 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 no. We're not going to go out and protest the Democrats. We're not going to look for opportunities to push back against their agenda. What we're going to do is we're going to purify the party and make sure that the people think like me. Matter of fact, the interesting thing was the person that sued me in federal court was the first person I had ever knocked doors with. Was the person that supported me to run for Kannapolis City Council to oversee an $80 million budget, but then turned around and said, nah, you wouldn't be a good county chairman. And my response was, well, if it's about the money, we only manage $50, $60, $80,000. You talking about you think I'm good enough to be a city councilman? But this same person then turn around and sues us for gender discrimination because they lost an election, because they don't like the direction of the party. I didn't like the direction of the party when I first came around. So you know what I did? I got involved. I worked with everybody on air finger quote, both sides of our party to bring and make the party better, not to cause more dissension, not to be suing people in federal court. And now because of this air finger, this I got to be the true Republican purism, we now do not have a solid Republican county commission in Cabarrus County. You done drove away a county commissioner. Why? Unnecessarily. And he's a good dude. There is a point where the rational conservatives, common sense conservatives have to look at what's happening in our party and say, is this right? Do we want to have this internal purist argument? I'm on one side of the casino issue. You're on another side of the casino issue. Therefore, if I'm pro-casino, you're no longer a true conservative. Okay, well, all right. According to you, oh, you didn't do the Lincoln Ray dinner the way we wanted to do it. You're not a true conservative. You don't like Trump. You're not a real Republican. I've never heard the term dino. I've never heard the term Democrat in name only. They don't do that over there. We do that, though. We are our own worst enemy when it comes to this whole entire ideal of county parties and around the state here in North Carolina. I'm telling you, if we don't get it together, if we don't stop this idea of who the true conservative is, we're going to lose these elections. We cannot be going out here fighting each other and thinking that somehow we're going to coalesce and then come back around, because you got to remember the fastest growing bloc in our state is the unaffiliated. It's not the Republican Party. So unaffiliated is the fastest growing voting bloc. And I think a huge part of that is people don't want to deal with the BS and the drama. Nobody, nowhere in no state, and it happens in North Carolina, it happens in New York, I've seen this in multiple states. Nobody wants to be a part of an organization where you come in the door and there's this litmus test, and then you got to be, if you're not a real conservative unless you do this. Well, who died and made you the arbiter of that? Okay. So now I've had enough of that. We're going to keep rolling along here. We're going to take a quick commercial break and talk about the obvious elephant in the room, which is the whole McCarthy situation. We'll be right back here on Top of the Morning. Y'all don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Top of the Morning here on the Urban Conservative. Unless you've been living under a rock, which some people do, you would know that yesterday there was a vote held, and there is no more Speaker McCarthy. Right now, the Speaker of the House is Patrick McHenry from North Carolina. I could be wrong, but this may be the first time we've had a Speaker of the House from North Carolina. If somebody knows, jump in the comments and let me know. I'll watch the entire thing. And one of the things I found interesting was what Matt Gaetz had to say after the gentleman from Oklahoma spoke, because he's talking about this idea that chaos and, if we oust Speaker McCarthy, we're going to plunge the body and the nation into chaos. And the response from Matt Gaetz to that I found interesting and was one of the most important highlights. Y'all take a listen to this.
Florida. Mr. Speaker, my friend from Oklahoma says that my colleagues and I who don't support Kevin McCarthy would plunge the House and the country into chaos. Chaos is Speaker McCarthy. Chaos is somebody who we cannot trust with their word. The one thing that the White House, House Democrats, and many of us on the conservative side of the Republican caucus would argue is that the thing we have in common, Kevin McCarthy said something to all of us at one point or another that he didn't really mean and never intended to live up to.
Wow. So that ought to tell you. And as I've talked to people across the state about this, one of the things that I've heard, and especially from people who follow congressional politics, is that is exactly right. He's going to tell Matt Gaetz one thing to get his vote. He's going to tell Dan Bishop one thing to get his vote. He's going to tell the Democrats one thing to get their vote. He's going to tell that person over there something to get their vote. But at the same time, not plan on delivering on any of it, the wheeling and dealing, the bustling. So I think it's interesting to see that this isn't personal. Hold on. Let's see what else.
I don't think voting against Kevin McCarthy is chaos. I think $33 trillion in debt is chaos.
He could have just dropped the mic right there.
I think that facing a $2.2 trillion annual deficit is chaos. I think that not passing single subject spending bills is chaos. I think the fact that we have been governed in this country since the mid-90s by continuing resolution and omnibus is chaos. And
Okay, so y'all listen to me here. Listen carefully, because this is where this is. I'm not going to say it gets tricky, right? But here's the situation that we're looking at. When Kevin McCarthy was trying to become speaker, he made promises, okay? He made some promises. He said, I'm going to bring single subject spending bills. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And clearly, none of those things have happened. None of the 72-hour stuff has happened. We look at the continuing resolution, the unlimited debt ceiling until 2025. You know, this had to be. I don't know how McCarthy didn't see this coming, knowing he wasn't keeping his word. And I mean, look, the ultimate thing about this is Kevin, is Matt Gaetz and the folks that voted to oust the Speaker of the House, are they going to be seen as on the right side of history? And I'm thinking so. I'm thinking that this is an opportunity for us to show how this governmental system works. You know, just because the Democrats are in the minority doesn't mean they don't have a voice in our government. And I was talking to a county chairman last night who made that point, and I had to think about it, and he's right. You know, at this point, when you have a politician, if I vote for you and you say I'm going to do A, B, C, and D, either you need to do A, B, C, and D, or you better have a really good reason for not doing those things. And looking at the spending bills, looking at the fact that they were attempting to pass the most conservative budget possible. Now, it's one other thing that, and Gaetz, I'm going to kind of play devil's advocate here. You've been in Congress during the Trump administration. Y'all knew that all of this spending was happening. You did it then. You know, when Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House, y'all passed these omnibus spending bills, and you did all of this and you did all of that and drove the national debt up and the deficit and all of those kind of things. But the fact of the matter is, with a Republican majority in the House, a slim Republican majority, I think this sends a signal that just because we have the control doesn't mean we're not going to hold our own accountable. And I think that is the right thing to do, is to hold your own accountable. Now, I'm one of these people that think that it is possible for two people to be on different sides of an issue and not hate each other, right? Some people think Matt Gaetz did the right thing. Some people don't think he did the right thing. I've seen some vitriolic, mean statements about him out there. The fact of the matter is, do we as Republicans have what it takes to get a new speaker in there, a permanent speaker in there, well, as permanent as possible, and then move on about the business of the American people? Because we still have a broken southern border. We still have, you know, way too much fentanyl, if any, coming into our country. We still have problems with immigration system that's broken. We still have issues with education. We still have issues with our energy. We still have all of these problems going on, but we need to get somebody in there that will facilitate moving the people's business. And that's what the speaker's supposed to be. So we're going to keep our eye on this whole speaker situation. If you don't know who was appointed as the Speaker of the House right now, his name is Patrick McHenry. He is out of North Carolina. And again, I think this is probably the first time we've, if I can remember, I don't know for certain, but somebody I'm sure will get in the comments and let us know. He serves in the U.S. House for the 10th District since 2005. He's a Republican. He's got Hickory and Mooresville. He's the House Republican Deputy Whip from 14 to 19, ranking member of the House Financial Services Committee from 19 to 23, and the chair of the House Financial Services Committee. He was appointed to that. Since yesterday, he has served as Speaker Pro Tem of the United States House of Representatives following the removal of McCarthy. He's from Gastonia, grew up right outside of there. The interesting thing is in mid-2000, Karl Rove hired him to be the National Coalition Director for George Bush's 2000 presidential campaign. He was also a volunteer coordinator for Bush's inaugural committee, and for 6 months in 2001, a special assistant to Elaine Chao, the Secretary of Labor. He ran for the General Assembly, won in 2002. He lives in Denver. He's been on financial services and government oversight and government reform. So not a nobody in the United States Congress. I think it's a great opportunity for us to have a little light shed on North Carolina. But we will, again, keep our eye on this situation. We'll be right back here on Top of the Morning. Y'all are not going to believe this video I'm about to show y'all about how racist Walmart is. We'll be right back here on Top of the Morning. Don't go nowhere.
Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Top of the morning here on the Urban Conservative. If you haven't done so already, give us a like, share, follow, subscribe. If you are interested in getting yourself an ad or supporting the platform, you can do that by visiting tuconservative.com. I'm just so proud of our platform. We are reaching millions of people, just not here on Facebook, Instagram. You name the platform, we're on it. You can also go back to Apple Music, Amazon, and everything else and listen to past episodes of the podcast. Now, here's my thing, right? I'm young enough, I'm old enough, I should say, to remember a time where we didn't have these carts in the supermarket, first of all, okay? Just first things first. At what point did we decide people have become so gluttonous that we need carts? I'm gonna shut up because people are gonna be like, he's so mean. He said that he's so mean. But this lady got caught stealing in a New York Walmart. I don't know where in New York this is. I don't even know how to describe what we're looking at here. So the lady gets caught stealing. You know, apparently the cops are there. Just watch this.
Drag me the fuck out. Drag me the fuck out.
Ooh. Oh my. My.
Drag me the fuck out.
Why are you doing all of that?
Drag me the fuck out of here. Drag me the fuck out.
Ooh, that right there was a mistake. That's a charge. That's a charge. And for all of y'all people that say the police are racist, the police want to beat up on black people. Do you see that lady just smacked him and he did not smack her back?
You're not supposed to be recording.
Yes, ma'am.
The thing about this that I find interesting is everybody with their phones out. Nobody, like, this is New York. So is this somewhat normal for them in New York for this? I haven't lived in New York in so long, I don't know. But this is interesting. You get caught stealing. Walmart sends the police, and now they're racist because you got caught stealing? Folks, this is the problem in our country today. You know, This is the problem, and this is not just people on the right. This is not just this Walmart incident, but this happens so often in the black community. When we get caught doing something, we want to scream racist. Ain't nothing racist about you getting caught stealing, ma'am. You know, like my man Inky said, diabetes is the real racist. You know, but what do we do with that? What do we make of that? Oh my gosh! Shouts out to my man Ari Case. He said, unfortunately, that's very normal in New York, ladies and gentlemen. So here's what you got. We got coming up a few different events. We'll be in Durham this week for the North Carolina Black Conservative Voices Retreat. I got to give a big shout out to everybody over at the South Shore Press up there in New York. Big up to my brother, Raheem Architect Soto. Got to give shouts out to the Frederick Douglass Foundation. Y'all don't go nowhere. We will be back tomorrow for Top of the Morning with 3 fresh new stories to cover on a national basis. Again, for my twin brother, Raheem Architect Soto, I am Abdul Ali. You've been checking out Top of the Morning here on the Urban Conservative. Y'all have a positive and productive day.